Tell me, have any IID students who worked for you stayed for more than a year and have become like an asset to your organization?
Most of them are assets to our organization. All of them are. But if I could give you a couple of examples, so there's Avantika. She wanted to do content writing, and she had an experience as an engineer in Deloitte, about 4 years of experience. But she wanted to take a hit, in her designation and start with content. Today, she is the group head of copy in about 2 years, and she does a phenomenal job with copy, content, and she's killing it. But the good part is, thanks to her training at IIDE, she understands digital very well. I didn't need to explain to her what format is what, or why a search ad needs to be more call to action driven.
Hi Yash.
Hello.
Thank you so much for having us here. It's been some time that you've been hiring a lot of IID students, and we've seen you grow your company over the last 5 years. So firstly, thank you so much for hiring IID students.
My pleasure.
So before we get started, for our audience, can you tell us who you are and what this company is?
So I'm Yash Chandiramani. I run Admatazz. I'm the founder and chief strategist of Admatazz. Admatazz is a digital agency that solves marketing and advertising problems in India. We're a new media agency as well, not just purely digital, but whatever else comes up in digital is something that we work towards. We've been in the business since 5 years. I have a team of about 50 people now. We started in 2017. We're an independent agency. We've worked with all possible industries.
If you had to just name all your brands in one shot in terms of your clients, can you go in one shot?
So we worked with, let's say in the education, one of our initial clients that has grown along with us is JBC and group of international schools. Nice. We worked with education brands all around the world, like Dewey College, New York. We worked with Columbia Business School for their summer camp, summer workshop in Mumbai. We worked with some schools in Europe as well. So a lot in education. We work with ICICI Bank a lot of creative work that we do for them, and for all possible factions of ICICI Bank, whether it's savings or Insta Save or women's banking or retirement planning. Nice. All of that. We work with HDFC Bank. We worked before. We work with the Audi dealer network, and we also work with a lot of other. We work with Tata, the insurance brand, Tata AI, Poonawalla FinCorp, South Indian Bank. We work with Wellbeing Nutrition now.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, so a big mix of everything.
Different types of industries.
Yes, and one of our very exciting big clients is BGAUZ. It's a part of the RR Cable group. So they're electric scooters, and we handle the entire communication advertising pan India for them.
Wow.
And Signy Jewels is one of our recent wins. It's a pan India jewelry e-commerce brand.
What do you think is the core strength of Admatazz?
Hands down, it's our creative thinking and creative ability. And when I say creative ability, it's not just in content, but even in our media and performance. We'll always come up with the out-of-the-box strategy, even in SEO, even with your overall strategy. We find some creative way, around. Even in HR and accounts, there's some creative spark over there. Yeah, so creativity is our core.
Creativity is the core.
Yes.
Wow, nice. And how many people work at Admatazz?
We're give or take about 50 people overall at Admatazz now.
Half a century, huh?
Half a century, yeah.
Going towards a century?
Hopefully. I don't usually like to measure the success of an agency with the number of people they have.
Very nice.
I believe the kind of work that we do should speak, right? McKinsey always has lesser people than a Deloitte or one of the other four. But there's a certain value add that you just can't match. So I feel that a small lean team, but a lot of value is something that we
high output lean team.
Yes.
So Yash, I'm here today because I know you hire a lot of IID, and I just want to know, over the last 5 years of you functioning, how many IIDians have been at Admatazz?
I'll tell you right now, there are 15 IIDians at Admatazz. Yeah, so about 25-30% of our workforce is
IID.
Yes.
Yeah, and how do you feel about hiring these IID kids?
Great. There's very little training in terms of technicalities required. Of course, there's a way of things and there's a way we look at things, and that's there. But there's very little time in learning that's required, and there's always a lot more that an IID kid wants to do. There's always an IID person messaging me saying in our team that, why don't we try this? Why don't we do this? This is something that we can do. So there's a lot of very curious students and very little time to train. So
thank you for that. So the question is, generally you're hiring so many people, and 80% of your staff is actually still coming from other locations. So can you tell us, when you're hiring digital marketers, what kind of skill sets are you actually looking for?
So the main thing we're looking at, no matter which department it is problem solving. So as a part of our application test, you'll always have a problem that you have to solve. That's the most important part. Second is, we always ask you where you keep yourself updated from. Where do you learn from? And there are certain sources that if you're following or you're learning from, we feel that is good enough. You're curious. Third is, of course, you need to have know-how in the segment. Technicalities have to be very strong. So if you applied for media planning, you need to know the different formats, the latest campaign formats on Google, on programmatic, on Facebook, all of these, So your technical know-how has to be, but in that, I think that order is something that we look at.
And I think that's the technical is where IID helps you.
Yeah. Overall, I think they've been through the entire technical grind,
nice.
And they know exactly, at least that is very clear, nothing is alien to them over there.
Can we have any IID students who work for you stayed for more than a year and have become like an asset to your organization?
Yeah, we've had most of them are assets to our organization. All of them are. But if I could give you a couple of examples, so there's Avantika. She joined in as she wanted to do content writing, and she had an experience as an engineer in Deloitte, about 4 years of experience. But she wanted to take a hit in her designation and start with content. Today, she is the group head of copy in about 2 years. And she does a phenomenal job with copy, content, and she's killing it with, But the good part is, thanks to her training at IID, she understands digital very well. I didn't need to explain to her what format is what, or why a search ad needs to be more call to action driven, or why a, awareness ad needs to be more, punchy with the copy. That's something that she understood, and then her natural skills. So she's an asset. Another example is Zahad, who started as an SEO executive, and today he's a strategist. He's an account planner, as they say in traditional agencies, and he's planning budgets over crores for our clients, for the year, where to spend, what to spend. Not just that, what new innovations to do. He's the one who's got Admatazz into chat solutions also. So creative chat solutions, where there's AI tech is helping with the tech, but there's nobody to do the creative part of it. So he's the one who's pushed us to start another segment and get into that as well. So, and everyone else, come with their advantage. These are two extraordinary growth stories that we've seen in front, with Admatazz. Yeah.
Wow. What's interesting is that I am aware that in 2014 you had a restaurant business, then in 2017 you quit that successfully, and then you moved to a digital agency which is super successful today. What's been the journey?
So, I won't say it was a successful exit. Restaurant industry, involves a lot of heartaches and heartbreaks every day. It's a very tough business, and if you have no backing, no understanding, it's very tough there. But it's also like one big MBA that I did. I learned everything possible: cost auditing, cash flow management, purchase, marketing. What really worked well for me is when I used to write campaigns for my restaurant. Right, that's when I discovered that, hey, I'm actually like a copywriter. I'm writing campaigns. I'm writing innovative stuff, whether it's the menu or marketing. I really enjoyed that. That was taking a lot of, that was gaining a lot of popularity, my campaigns for the restaurant. Apart from that, I also did a lot of digital marketing myself. I learned it myself and I had to do it for my restaurants. Give you an example, which will take a little more time. I figured a hack of how to get, to rank on Zomato or get a lot of views on Zomato. And that time Zomato was only to discover restaurants via Facebook paid marketing. And there's one hack. Let's say I figured one hack and I did that, and that led to a lot of in-store traffic and a lot of sales. I realized that this is a very new field, and there are no standards set here already. There are no precedents set already, and I can do a lot more if I just think out of the box. And that's when I started realizing the power of digital and creative digital. And I said, maybe this is where my heart is.
So you moved from the restaurant business to digital marketing.
Yeah, to digital
So
marketing.
through one of your experiences, you had a new experience.
I realized, yes. So usually people pivot in one business. I realized that no, this is what I really want to do.
Yeah, you pivoted from the
business to another
Oh,
business. Yeah.
nice, nice. And since then, you took the courage to start a digital marketing agency. And from there, how was your start?
It was good. It was very conservative, my start. I'm ultimately a Sindhi businessman. So, cash flow, profitability was there since day one. And I was not, keen on, growing at scale immediately or, having that burst of growth and then realizing, grappling as I go. I wanted to figure it out that way. So I started very small, very conservatively. And I had another thing that since it's a very new field, right, I need to do justice to the clients that I'm serving. I can't just, pile up clients and not serve them properly. So I learned with each client that I got, and that's how we grew overall. So it's been fun.
Wow, nice. Where do you study?
So it's a funny story actually. I started with electronics and telecommunication engineering.
Okay.
I studied for 2 years. I didn't study for 2 years. I failed at engineering for 2 years. And then I finally quit after 2 years and shifted to BMS in Jai Hind College. I actually, started with people 2 years junior to me from scratch. But it was a decision I was very happy with from engineering to BMS.
So you moved from engineering to commerce?
Yeah, from engineering to commerce.
And it took a 2-year drop.
Yeah.
Wow, that's commendable, man. You're proud of it.
I'm proud that I quit engineering. Of course, I think the BMS course was something that really benefited me in some ways, but engineering did a lot more harm to me than anything else could benefit me overall.
And can you tell us, what did you study, or were there any skills that you picked up in this commerce course or engineering course of yours that has led to your entrepreneurial journey?
2 things. Actually, one thing I can give engineering credit is the fear of math is not there. Even though I'm a creative writer and, in advertising, I don't get scared of math, accounts. I don't get scared of complex problems of media planning. I like that. But I think BMS really helped me with, one is we had a great law professor. So I yet have a keen interest in contract law, and being an entrepreneur, how important contracts and law and stuff is. Accounting really helped me because I had zero idea of accounting, and today there's so much of accounting that happens. That really helped me. And apart from that, some subjects like strategy, marketing, your IIDE model and your 4 Ps. It's theory and people usually dismiss it, but it forms the base of advertising. Marketing. So it helped.
So it did help you.
It did help me, of course. I don't really. People who work at Admatazz know I don't hold the education system and I don't give it too much regard. People can walk in without qualifications over here. If they are a dropout, we don't care. You can apply for anything. There's no problem. Because I feel it's yet very outdated. It helped me because I really picked up stuff, and I was lucky to have good teachers. But otherwise, I don't find the Indian education system or any education system overall, whatever experience I have, really great or out of the box that way.
Well said, actually. I think that's very true. I run a school, but I still think that experiences outside of school are more important.
So that's what schools like you are doing, right? Getting that practicality, getting not just in India. I mean, getting a lot of having that relation, teacher and student equation. That's a lot better than what it is in traditional university. So I think that's the need of the hour.
Thank you. That's the problem that we're trying to solve. So Yash, since you're an entrepreneur, 3 things you think every entrepreneur should know.
3 things every entrepreneur should know. One, that you will need to know finance. No matter what you do, you have to know finance and accounts. That's one thing. Second is, most of your life and your part is going to go in HR. Human resource, whether it's people counseling, hiring, because that's what ultimately your business is, people, right? You can't be everywhere and do everything. And third is, if you're going to get into entrepreneurship, you have to know that you have to pay your dues, right? So you can't expect to be like everyone, take 30 days off and go, on a vacation. Every weekend is going to be free for a party. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you have to work in the night sometimes. You have to wake up and work. And if you like what you're doing, it's not going to matter also much. But you have to make other people around you understand that this is, going to be tough for a few years and not very flexible. But yeah, that's something that you have to do.
So I think three things: finance, HR, and commitment.
And commitment. Yes,
Yeah,
all three things. Yes.
So Yash, I deal with so many students, and a lot of them are freelancing already while they are studying, and everybody wants to open a digital marketing agency these days. So what's your view on these young students opening a digital marketing agency in 2022? Yes,
So-
no, or what?
Very, very, very interesting question. There's a book I read called Good to Great. I actually swear by that book. There's one particular part, that says that a company should do what they're confident that they'll be the best at, if they do it. So I always like to, I also teach, right, and as visiting faculty, and I meet a lot of students who have the same thing, that I want to start my own. If you're starting a digital agency, what are you going to do that is different? What are you going to do that will be better than, the big four of the advertising world? What can you do that nobody else can, according to you? And how are you different is one answer that you should, if you're going to say that we're going to be the same creative and social media and, put up 30 posts a month and all, that's not going to work now anymore, because there are agencies cropping up every second. So there's no differentiation over there. So you need to pick a, niche and maybe grow from there.
Nice.
Is what I feel.
Very popularly it's said, richest is in the nichest.
Yeah.
So you're saying, find your strength, find your niche, and open your own digital.
I'm going to use that in my next pitch, or when I'm trying to convince a client to, invest in a particular platform or something. I think that's a richest is in the
Niche.
nichest. Yeah.